Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello. So good to see you. I'm so happy all of you got the message that we're having the Q&A today instead of on next week that we were supposed to. I'm really happy you got the message and that you're here. While we're waiting for people to arrive, I would like for us to just center ourselves a bit. So make yourself comfortable. And close your eyes. Make a deep exhalation where you feel how you fall into gravity. Inhale. And exhale and fall into gravity. Feel how the body is getting more and more heavy. And you're becoming present and aware in how it is to be in a body and be present here right now on this beautiful Friday. I would like for you to get a focus on your feet. Feel the sensation of your feet. If there's any tingling sensation, notice how you don't really feel your feet if there's not a thought attached to this being your feet. You would have to move your toes to kind of locate where they are. And even if you're moving your toes, and only your toes, you can't feel your leg and your knee and your thigh. So it's just like a tinkling sensation out in space, not really connected to anything. But make contact with your feet and your ankle and your knees. So it's with your mind that you're thinking of your feet, your ankle, and your knees. Make contact with your hips. I would like for you to do a Kegel exercise. So you do a Kegel and an inhalation. Imagine how you're going up through the spine, stretching up and exhaling and letting go of the Kegel. So you have a slight tension on the inside of you. And make contact with the front of your body. Everything that is on the front. Those are the parts that we, if we have open eyes, we can look at. And by looking at it, we kind of identify it as a me. And I would also like for you to make contact with the back of you. All the parts you have never seen. And you really, really have to think of the back of you to identify with that as a me. And see if you can notice where the attention of the front of you and the attention of the back of you kind of meet in the middle. This is purely a mind thing that we're doing right now. But you can think about it. Imagine how it's meeting in the middle. And notice how by doing that, the meeting in the middle, you kind of create a space where you assume the body to be. So there's a middle and there's something going out from the middle, but only to a certain extent. And then you wouldn't notice that your body is any further than there. And make a focus on everything to your right of your body. So still your body, but everything to the right. And everything to the left. And everything above you and below you. So now you have all 6 directions. And a sensation that a body is sitting in the middle. It can be imagined like a box, and there's sensations located in the middle of that box. If you now imagine that that box is expanding in all 6 directions, so in front of you, behind you, side to side, up and down, and it's expanding as much as you feel comfortable with. We're still only imagining, it's only happening in your mind. But imagine that you're expanding that box, so your energy kind of go further out. It doesn't have to be the limit of your physical body, but it can be an expansion as far out as you feel comfortable with. You notice that sitting here right now, you have an overview. We talked about that before. But in this space, there's just contentment. And from this very wide space that you're in right now, I would like for you to pose the question, what do I need to let go of? Usually it's the first thing that pops to mind that's relevant. What do I need to let go of? And it could be fear, anger, guilt, or shame. It could be a feeling of low self-worth. It could be an argument in your life that has happened in this week. It could be a longer going argument. It could be any belief that you have become aware of recently that you feel that, oh my goodness, that's really, really limiting. It's really holding me back. And you know that you need to let go of it. If you have any kind of fear popping up when you think about letting go of it, then see if you can, in your body, feel into what it is you will lose or miss out on if you're letting go of this thing. And ask yourself if you're ready to let go of that. And that's either yes or no. Yes, I'm ready to let go of it, or no, not yet. And either is fine. It's not a competition. It's more just an acknowledgement of where you are. So feel into your body right now. Either that thing has now let go. For some of you it has. For others of you it hasn't. Do you see that it doesn't really matter if it's still there or not there? Just feel into the body, how it feels to be in the body right now. Is there a feeling connected? Do you feel sadness or anger, impatience? Is there any feeling coming up? And just allow that feeling to be there as well. This is the place to bring it to the table, so just allow that. When you're allowing the body to feel what it feels right now, are you in a position where you can see that it actually holds no meaning? That you need to pick up the thought all the time for it to be important or relevant? In itself, it's not. So ask yourself again, what do I need to let go of? You see that there's always another story coming up. When one story is released, there's another story ready to take its place. It's ongoing, never ending. And none of those stories are truth or real, it's just a thought. They're relevant in the way that they point in a direction, they point to the mirror. They point to something that needs to be experienced, felt in the body. Even though they're not true, they point at something important that needs your awareness and compassion and love and kindness. So what do you need to let go of? You feel your shoulders and your neck, your face and the sockets of your eyes. Feel how you're relaxing. Make a deep inhalation. Move your body if you need to, shake it out. Open your eyes when you're ready. So from this space right now, where you're at, where you feel that the body is calm and something came up, is there anything you see that you need to let go of, but you might not be ready to let go of, or you don't want to let go of? Or is there something completely different that you would like to talk about? And just raise your hand and we do that. Tonka, so good to see you. I'll just pin you.
Hello, everybody. It's so nice to meet you, Pernilla.
Hi, Tonka. So good to meet you. I loved the inquiries that you did with Todd.
Okay, you watched that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I did. I really enjoyed those. And for everybody, Todd, he did an inquiry series with Tonka that is on his channel, Unfettered Mindfulness. And it's beautiful insights that you had in that series. I really loved it.
Thank you very much. I've been enjoying your work. for a long time now, and I talked to Todd about that. So what I'm dealing with right now seems like I need to let go of fear. Fear is like old age, sickness, dying. It seems to be predominant in my life. I don't know if it has anything to do that I work in a nursing home and retirement home, so I'm facing it all the time, so I just can't not to see it. And also I feel that I didn't really give myself time to grieve over two people that were very close to me, that were diagnosed with cancer and they died. And now even a word cancer causes so much discomfort in my body. When someone says cancer, like I'm just like, oh, don't, you know, like there is something there. So I've been sitting with it and looking into desire and aversion, and it all comes down to me like there is desire to feel well, and there is aversion to sickness and pain. It's not so much fear of not existing, but it's fear of seeing the pain and suffering, deep suffering, and that terminal illness, when you know that there is nothing you can do. And now I feel great desire to find a way to live without that fear. So now I'm thinking, is it even maybe me wanting not to have fear is not a way to go. But anyways, I feel that I need a little bit of help there, because I just don't know.
Yeah, I get that. I just want to tune in on where you are in the understanding of this. When we talk about fear, you are aware that it's just a thought, right? You are aware that fear is not a thing. Fear is not a thing. It's a thought.
But sensation is my problem.
Yes. One of the advantages with working in a job like you are, where you're working with elderly and you're working with sick people, one of the advantages is that you get to see how much identification and attachment actually influence the death process. The process of dying is very much influenced it's very much influenced by the way that the person is attached to things that they want and they don't want. People that are resisting being old and resisting having cancer and resisting they're suffering much more than people that are actually with the pain in the moment and with the pain in the next moment. We tend to say about those people, we tend to admire those people that, you know, are in a wheelchair and they're bleeding and they have no strength in their upper body and they are in a diaper and they have catheter and all of that, and yet they have the surplus to be kind and to smile and ask, how are you doing? And, you know, have that surplus to other people. We tend to admire them. And the secret that they hold is that they're not identifying with the pain. They're not identifying with the physical decay that is happening. That's the difference. So the fear of for example, getting cancer and dying, it's not so much the getting cancer and dying, it's all the thoughts that we create about how it's going to happen. And that how it's going to happen is always 10,000 times worse than the process is itself. Because in itself, it's about a body that is slowly going into decay until there's not enough ATP circulation happening in the cell. There's no longer any energy production in the cell that is keeping the biological being alive, and that is when decay is happening quicker and the biological being is ceasing to exist. In itself, there's no suffering in that. It's all the attachment that we have to that happening to a me, to an I. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Do you see where I'm pointing?
I do, and but I understand, but it's still like I'm not sure how to deal
That's
with
why
those energies in my body, because when you talk like, yes, of course, it all makes perfect sense.
But you're not feeling it. You're understanding it with your head. I would like for you to feel in your body what I'm saying. So instead of now having it in your head where it's happening up here and you hear what I'm saying, go into your body right now. How does it feel to be in your body right now?
Uncomfortable.
Where? That's too unspecific. What is happening? What do you feel in your body right now?
My
Something.
throat and my solar plexus mainly.
Okay. So what is happening in the throat? How would you describe the sensation?
Strong, very strong.
Is it like a kind of suffocating part?
Yes.
Yeah. Whenever we have, then this goes to all of you. Whenever you have that suffocating feeling in the throat, it's because there's a disconnect between the intellectual part and the body. So you need to focus on getting it into the body, allowing what you think is really, really too much. There's something happening in your head that you think is too much and it can't seep into the body. If you imagine like an hourglass where there's sand coming through, it's like that you believe that there's too much sand in the top part of the hourglass for it to fit in the lower part of the hourglass. Obviously, there isn't. Everything that is happening in your mind, it's only thoughts. None of those thoughts can seep into the body. In the body, you just have a sensory experience. So see if you can breathe through the throat. Have the image of the hourglass, that the pebble that is lying and blocking it in the throat, you're just dissolving it. Allow it to be evenly distributed. So all the fear you have in your mind, make an inhalation and let it go into the body and see how much space there actually is in the body for you to feel what is going on. You said you had it in the solar plexus.
Yes.
The solar plexus is about our socialization. It's connected with the adrenal glands. So it's where we're trying to do ourselves out of this issue. And I can tell you, my lovely Tonga, you're not doing yourself out of anything. You need to feel this. You need to feel this. No matter how much you're trying to do, nothing is going to happen. Put a hand on the solar plexus and breathe into it. Expand your stomach. Imagine that you're kind of like cracking open in the middle and the boobs are going out to each side and there's so much Tonga that is just expanding in the middle. There's lots and lots and lots of space here. If you close your eyes, you're not even limited to your physical body. You can just expand into the entire universe. Expand into the entire room you're sitting in. And just keep breathing, and have the sensation when you're breathing that is going in from the head, where you inhale in through your throat, into the lungs, and expanding the entire body, and you're exhaling all the doubt and all the fear and all of that, and just see where it's leaving you in the body. Keep feeling this in the body. How does it feel to be in your body right now?
It's becoming easier.
Okay. So can we talk about fear?
Sure.
Okay. I want you to stay in your body when we talk about fear. When we talk about fear and the fear of dying and the dying process, what is the difference from how you feel right now to how you feel 30 seconds before you die? What is the difference between how you feel right now and how you feel 30 seconds from the moment you die?
I don't think I can know that.
You can't. There's no way of knowing that there's any difference. You could die in 30 seconds. Which means that this, how you feel right now in your body, that's how it is. Another thing I would like for you to bring your attention to is that there are so many small deaths happening biologically all the time. Every 5th day, you have a new stomach lining. Every 2 weeks, you have a new layer of skin. There's so many, how would I say, physical deaths that is happening all the time, and we don't mourn those. There's nothing left of your body from when you were a child. There's
Yeah,
nothing.
they say 7 years. In 7 years, every
In 7
cell
years,
of
yeah,
our
yeah,
body.
exactly. But for example, when you were a child and you were like a meter tall, you know, there's nothing left of that. The memories that you have from that period, you can't even remember every single day from the year you were 7, those 365 days you were 7. You can't even remember most of it. All those are gone too. So the identification that you have with the body is purely fictional. The identification that we have with our history is purely fictional. And if you die in 30 seconds, all the people that you have in your life that love you, all the people that are watching the YouTube video that you did with Todd, you're living on there, in their minds. Your family, your loved ones, you're living on in their minds. Right now, for example, if you have children or if you have a partner, you're not with them right now. In their minds, you are in their lives, right?
Yeah.
If you died right now, none of them would know that you were dead, and they would walk around, have in a world where you were still here, because it's only mind-made. There's no difference right now in your partners thinking of you if you're here or if you're not here physically, if you're here or if you're not here. There's no difference. They're not here right now. So the idea that we have of being alive is purely mental. We have an idea of what it means to be alive. This is me, this is my body. But is it? Is it? If there's nothing left in 7 years, then exactly, and we're not mourning every single day about, every single little cell that is dying. You don't know what is happening in your body right now. So what difference is it exactly? What part of identification is it exactly? It's a holding on to an idea that is not real. Reality is not how you perceive it. It's just how you perceive it. If you feel the sofa you're sitting in right now, if you put your hands out and you close your eyes and you just feel the seat that you're sitting on. I'm sitting on a chair. If I feel the seat that I'm sitting on, Now my hands are going over the sides of the chair that I'm sitting on. Those sensations that I have in my hand right now is not indicative of what a chair is. It's just the sensations that I'm receiving through my hand. Just like if I open my eyes and I look out the window and I have the view of all the trees and the road and the houses and all that, that is not indicative of the world. It's only indicative of what my eyes is perceiving right now. Right now, in our minds of everybody who's sitting here at this call, China doesn't exist. It's only if we go there and we say, this is China, and then it's only that part of China. So whatever we perceive as a reality, it's only the perceived. And there's a huge difference between what we perceive as reality, what we put a label on as reality, and what actually is reality. So we look, for example, we look out the window, and whatever you see, it's only what your eyes can perceive to be seeing. It's not what actually is there. We know that reality is quantum mechanics, you know, it's atoms and quarks and electrons. It's lots of energy. Isn't in you know, an atom is like what, 99.9% empty space. We can't even see it. We can't even perceive what reality is. And even the quantum mechanics, they have no bloody idea what reality is. None of us do. We have no idea. But because we perceive it like we do, we say, this is reality. This is my body. This is my chair. And that is a grasping to something that is not real. Just like we do when we see a rainbow and say, that's a rainbow. It's not. It's a figment of our imagination. It's light. And the body is no different. What we perceive as a life is no different.
This morning, Pernilla, I was actually doing one of those exercises. Recently, I was doing direct experiencing. So I would drop all the thinking and then just all the perceptions. And like what is happening when I do that, the mind really slows and things become less solid.
Yes.
And the space between things become like, it's almost that the space has some substance, like it's not empty anymore. And a lot of light seems to be that lightness becomes more intense, and it's extremely nurturing. And I love sitting in it. It feels like recharging. So I did usually in the mornings I do that, and I find it very, very nurturing. And I was about to ask you about the changes in that perception, in that state. That's where I become like, oh my goodness, this doesn't even look solid. Like, what is it made of, actually?
And it's not. It's because it's not. It's only our, everything we look at. The eyes are only perceiving 2 dimensions, right? It's the brain that is putting in the 3rd dimension. I had a brain, still have a brain injury. And when I was really in the beginning of the brain injury, I was right after the accident, I saw everything 2-dimensional because my brain was not capable of putting in the 3rd dimension. So I didn't see any depth of anything. And it was making it so clear that what we perceive as reality, it's just a fantasy, you know, it's just a lie. It's something that we can perceive. I don't know if you've seen those pictures of birds, how birds are actually looking for other birds, not for human beings, because we can't see that spectrum of colors that other birds can see. We can only see the spectrum we see. So we see like a brown bird, where in fact it's like a rainbow to look at if you're another bird. But we can't see it, so we perceive that to be a boring brown bird. But for another bird, that is like the most beautiful sight on the planet. And we're so arrogant. The mind is so arrogant that we honestly believe that what I perceive through my senses is real. And it's not. Even the ones that are working with what reality actually is, the quantum mechanics, they don't even know what reality is. How are we supposed to? I mean, we're so ignorant. We don't know anything. We don't know anything. And that we're afraid of losing is like, it makes no sense. It makes no sense.
Yeah. So what comes to me?
So yeah, I just want to finish. I'm sorry. I'm ranting here. So the fear that you have of dying and the fear that you have of decay, it's a fear of change. Change is happening all the time. All the time. You're just not aware of it. And then we believe that the big change is the one when the physical body is ceasing to exist, the way that we perceive the physical body to be. I mean, just in the time span you and I have been talking, so many cells have died. You have had cancer multiple times in the time we have talked. It's normal for the body to develop cancer and then the immune system get rid of it. That is happening multiple times a day. Because it's a natural part of the body. It's how the body works. But it's when the mind goes in and saying, the frontal lobe going in and saying, I know what real is. I know what reality is, and I want my perception of reality to stay the same. That's where suffering is happening, and it's completely ludicrous. It can't happen. Sorry, I was interrupting you.
It's okay. I just wanted to mention when I was doing those exercises, direct experiencing, it looks like there is no problem, like anything that is seen, no problem. Everything comes in out, everything that is heard, everything that is smelled, tasted. Sensations are where I have issue with, because even when I go into those exercises, all I just sense sensation where the leg would be, foot, arm, this and that, and I can see it's almost like clouds and not even connected, and I'm even aware of the space. However, certain sensations I have huge resistance to feel. They seem to be threatening. Those sensations seems to be identification with those sensations. So I can't, like, I don't even see it as a body anymore, just a sensation here, sensation there, but I don't know, there is some fear of those sensations.
Yes, what I would invite you to do with all the talk that we just have now, listen to this part over and over and over, and especially when you're sitting with it, and then look into what thought is it that is telling you that contraction, that pain is more dangerous than anything else. What makes you think that a pain in the head is a brain tumor, but the rose is smelling great? What that discernment that we have by deciding that something is good and something is bad. See if you really can feel into that, detach the thought of it, and just sit down and sense it, and notice that in your direct experience of the senses that is happening right now, a pain in the head is not something bad. You need an overlay and then post-it on it to say that this is bad, and the smell of a rose is nice. You need that post-it to have any opinion about it. In itself and on its own, a pain in the head, it's just a sensation that is happening in a certain way. Just like the smell of a rose, it's just a sensation happening in a certain way. There's nothing preferred. There's nothing that can be better or worse than anything else. That is only a label. So what I would invite you to do until next time is to start to notice how much value you put into that label, how much you actually trust that label to be true, but that label is completely made up. Okay.
Thank you very much.
I'm so looking forward to hearing how this is going. This
you.
is exciting. Thank you. Thank you. Then it's Eva. Hello, my friend.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Yeah, well, not much good going on. I mean, it just I think I'm very identified with my thoughts, at least it feels like this. And they put me this week, they put me to work with toddlers, and it's just I don't know. It's very challenging for me at the moment.
Why?
So
Why is it challenging? Is it
because
about expectations?
yeah, no, it's just not so much about the kids, but you know, I feel like I don't have like my own voice or my own opinion, or I don't know. So I'm following the leaders because there are two women who work there, and I just came like the third one who helps. So I'm just following their work, you know, and I don't know. It seems like I get lost in it somehow. So you know, just um not following like my instincts or intuition, but just like have to be like they are, but it's not true, you know. So yeah, so I don't know, I don't it's very challenging. Yeah.
I would like for you to look into the expectations that you have.
Okay.
When you're in a situation, and this goes for everyone, when you're in a situation, notice how much the mind is attaching a certain sequence of things that needs to happen for the mind to be content. If the toddlers are not pooping everywhere and screaming all the times, I will have had a good day. If it's raining and they're pooping and screaming all the time, I will have had a bad day. That can only happen. You have an expectation to something happening in a certain way. If you let go of the expectation, if you let go of the expectation, you know,
Yeah, but it's true.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have that feeling of just floating. Whatever is happening, it's just wow, I did not expect that one. Oh, wow, I did not, and new things will be allowed to happen. So even when it's raining and the kids are pooping and screaming all the time, you will have had the most amazing experience all day because you didn't have any
because today it was just like this, and it was like overwhelming for me, you know, just the screaming.
Yeah, it can only be overwhelming if you have an idea of how it should be.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
If the toddlers are free to be toddlers as toddlers are toddlers, and the two women you're working with, they're free to be as they are, then you have no expectation to what should happen, and then it's not draining or overwhelming.
Yes, I know.
So,
And today I left 2 hours early, you know, so because I was like, yeah, it's just, and then I put the guilt on me.
yeah, it's magnificent. Yeah, it's a non-stop thing. Yeah. Oh, and then the guilt train on top of it. It's absolutely magnificent. So if you ask yourself, what do I need to let go of?
Yeah, I was because I asked myself this question. And
Oh, you're frozen. Ooh, Iva, this is happening every time. I think it's a great insight. I hope you're hearing the recording afterwards. This is a great insight to the part about, you know, expectations. We have an expectation about, oh, now I get to ask my question, then I want to ask my question in the right way so I get the right thing out of my question. That's a huge thing about expectation. So Iva, I'm getting back to you when you come back on. I move on to Surya. Hello, my friend.
Hello, hi again.
Hi, so good to see you.
Yeah, and you and everyone actually.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, the first thing that came to my mind with something to let go of was expectations. I sort of sat with it and I thought, well, that's an obvious one. Is there anything else? But it seemed to be and well, the other thing was about I'm easily getting confused at the moment about what this is all about. What am I supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
I might have mentioned last time that I've got a guide for the fetters 4 and 5. And but what seems to be coming up a lot is first fetter stuff.
Yes.
I really don't want to have to do all the work. Oh. So
okay.
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. If I you remember the Heart Sutra?
Yes.
Yeah. So freed from the fear led by it. You know, it's about all those hooks that we have into things being in a certain way. And whenever we believe things can be in a certain way, we're limiting ourselves because we can only imagine things to be in that certain way that we know of, that is within our understanding and our perceived reality at this moment. If you look at insights, if you look at where you were in your life 20 years ago, right? And the decisions that you made in your life 20 years ago, you see that there was a lot of information that you didn't have that you have now. So if you were to make the same decisions in your life now, you would make them differently. But you didn't have the information at that point. This is a situation like that. 20 years from now, you will have information that you don't have right now. What I mean with it, and where I'm pointing you at, it's that it's about releasing all the hooks that we have into expectation, into things being in a certain way, and the limitation that we put on ourselves by doing that. If you bring a focus into the contentment that is in the moment all the time, stillness, simplicity, and contentment, that's here all the time. It's available all the time. When you're doing that, then you are unhooking everything, anything that is limiting in any way, and you're just allowing things to be as they are. So the best advice that what I would love for you to work with until next time, that would be finding every single moment you are in, say the sentence, stillness, simplicity, and contentment, and then notice in this moment right now, where is that? Because even when you're in a traffic jam, and you have like a vomiting dog on the back seat and it's raining and the car starts to smoke, even then there is stillness, simplicity, and contentment. It's just the mental overlays on it that puts up obstructions to us noticing the stillness, simplicity, and contentment. And a lot of the work that we're doing with the 4th and the 5th, it's, yes, we're going back to the first 3, to the lower 3. Absolutely, a lot of us need to go back to working with that. But it's not the same burden of work as it was the first time around. because you know that there is no I. You know that you can at any point look into the stillness, simplicity, and contentment that is in the moment right now. And whatever you think needs to be different, whatever you think other people need to do different, whatever you think should be different, all of that is just a mirror. So with the stillness, simplicity, and contentment, look in the mirror and see where that is pointing. You know, Janice shouldn't talk to other people like that. Look at the mirror. Look at the mirror. It's not about Janice. It's about you. Surya shouldn't talk about people like that. Okay. Surya shouldn't talk to Surya like that. Okay. What is it right now that needs compassion and love and kindness in me, to me, from me? This got nothing to do with Janice. What is it right now in me that leads love and compassion? I'm going to fill that up with love and compassion so I get back to the space of stillness, simplicity, and contentment. And in that, Janice can be Janice all that she wants. The car can start to smoke. The dog can vomit on the back seat, and all of that. There's nothing wrong with any of it. Whatever you think needs to be different, look at the mirror. What is it pointing at? What is it in you that needs to be different? Give that part love and compassion. And then look into that in this moment with all the love and compassion. This is beautiful. The dog vomiting on the back seat. Oh my God, it's wonderful. So that is how I would invite you to work with the 4th and 5th right now. And let me know next time how that went.
Okay. Thank you. You're on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Mark. Let me just get on. Hello, my friend.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
Good to see you.
Yeah. So I'd like to talk a little bit about trauma and trauma healing from trauma.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, about 2.5 years ago, I think I would have said I was somebody who had not an ounce of trauma in my system. There was nothing to be detected whatsoever. But that all changed. So
here we go.
yeah, I was living alone in the pandemic, and it really, I was, I suppose, isolated away from more or less everybody. And I reacted with so much anxiety to the entire, like so much more than everybody around me, that it really made me face something that I've known about since I was at least at school, which is this real intense feeling of feeling different and out of place, misunderstood, and just effectively born in the wrong universe.
I can relate to that.
Yeah. I mean, as I say, that's something I've known about since I was quite young. And I suppose I kind of consciously buried that, or made a conscious choice that was just going to be okay, because the alternative was for it not to be okay. And, my reasoning at the time was, why not have it be okay, right? If you can choose. Yeah. Anyway, that was always sort of bubbling away. Yeah. I mean, I suppose when I really began to face it, and I found some other people online that had written about seeing the world in a sort of similar way to me. It was the first time I'd really started to feel sort of seen and validated, and like not completely alone in the universe ultimately. Yeah, that allowed me to really start to accept all the pain that it had caused. And one day a dam just burst. I was sort of bursting into tears every day, multiple times a day for a month. Just pure heart coming out that I didn't really realize what was going on, like the extent of it. It was kind of an incredible experience. Anyway, when that was sort of tapering off, coming out of that sort of thing, that's when I suppose I saw through the self. I just realized that, and it's just a construction, everything's just a reaction to cause. It's just cause and effect, isn't it? That's not me. So that was, I don't need to go into all the detail, another awakening tribute song, but yeah, it completely transformed my life. I mean, I know some people seem to not find that has that much of effect on them. But I mean, it's just completely altered every aspect of my existence.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, it's since then I suppose I've become aware of deeper levels of trauma. Maybe is one way of putting it, or I suppose something that I had been calling a different trauma, but lately I've started to think maybe it's actually all related. Yeah, it was something around my birth. I mean, it was a kind of traumatic birth for me. It was an emergency operation. I was plonked in an incubator for a few days, that sort of thing. Yeah, so as I say, I've been seeing these as different things. I kind of felt like this feeling of being misunderstood and out of place. That the problems that was causing have basically evaporated. I mean, it's like it's gone. I mean, I wouldn't believe that was possible if it hadn't happened to me. But yeah, I started thinking about things like this sort of birth trauma, which is really causing so much fear. I believe that's where a lot of this anxiety through the pandemic has come from. It was just in a state of hyper arousal, really. I guess this is new territory for me. I don't really know how to deal with this. I mean, or deal with it's not the right word. Don't really know. I guess I'm just looking for reassurance that what's happening is sort of on the right lines. I mean, I can burst into tears again when I hear other people talking about their pre-birth trauma. One of the earlier Q&As, I think you were talking about it with a couple of people, and that was, I don't know if cathartic's the right word, but therapeutic, allowed me to get in contact with that. But I mean, I have no notion of it. I still just feel like me. There's no before. I can't pinpoint anything that's an effect of it, really. I mean, I'm piecing together what I think it's done to me, but that's in some sense a sort of logical reasoning that's getting me there. It all adds up and makes sense to me, but yeah, have I come up with a question? I don't feel I have. I'm not feeling
I know you haven't, but it's completely fine.
I'm sorry.
It's completely fine.
Yeah,
No, because what you're doing, I completely hear you. And it's one of the things that I think is it's not talked that much about when we talk about awakening. I'm touching on it in the first feta, where I talk about, that I see us like a house, and seeing through self is going into the house through the front door. And in that house, there's hundreds and hundreds of rooms. And a lot of the rooms, they have other, adjoining rooms into it. And when we enter the no self, and we know that there is no I, there are so many things in our lives that need attention and needs to be, falling into place. Like you say, all of a sudden you realize that, my goodness, I apparently have a lot of trauma in an area that I didn't know that I had. And then we don't know what to do with it. There's no I, and yet I feel very, like you say, cathartic in the body. That when somebody talks about it, it's like, somebody is scratching something
Right.
in you, pushing on a bruise in you, and it's like, where did all that come from?
Right.
But the thing is that when we're not attached to a self anymore, when we're not that invested in an identification being in place, but we allow whatever is there to be there, things are expanding immensely quick, very, very quick. And it's like a lot of the doors in the house are just blasted open, and then you have access to all those extra rooms, and a lot of things are in there that you need to get used to, is part of you, and then and is part of the bigger picture of it. So I think it's that your video went. I don't know what happened. Are you still here? Mark, are you still here? Let's go back in now. Mark, are you here?
Yeah, sorry, my browser crashed. Yeah.
Okay, let me just get. I just replace pen, go, and then
Cool.
loot. Here we are.
Back in the game.
Yeah, what I said is that when you then see through self, it's like a lot of the doors into all those rooms are just blasted open, and all of that is suddenly a part of you, and you don't really know how to navigate, because you never started to cry all of a sudden out of the blue when somebody's talking about, you know, something that you have never ever tried in your life, but it's touching something in you. And that is the part that I think we're not talking enough about. We have this idea, this very fixed ego idea of what an awakening is, what is supposed to happen and what is not supposed to happen. And that bursting into tears, you know, standing on a street corner and seeing a leaf landing like that, and then we're just bawling our eyes out. It's not something that we're talking about, but it's very, very normal. It's very, very normal. Yeah. You said before that it felt like you were born into the wrong universe.
Yeah.
I'm curious what the universe that you were supposed to be born into is looking like. What is that looking like?
Okay, I just quickly before I answer that, I kind of don't feel like that anymore. As I say, that's all of that stuff's just clear, just gone away. It's not a problem at all. But yeah, at the time, which, you know, for the first, I don't know, 40 odd years, I never believed there was anything wrong with me. I never had that thought, which I guess the deep-seated feelings of shame and all this stuff, a lot of which have cleared up, and this sort of persistent guilt obviously contradicts that. But yeah, I didn't think there was anything wrong with other people. I just thought all the humans were slightly off, or that I wasn't one of them. I was just like, yeah, a few percent off, but it makes all the difference. I was like, there's something wonky in this place, and that isn't me.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that you've seen through that one. That's
Me too. Me too.
Yeah. That's a really, really good one to see through.
Yeah, it's changed my world big time.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, if since you haven't asked a question, what I'm just like off the bat would like for you to work with until next time. I would like for you to slow down, slow down. That whenever you have an idea of how you are going to be in a situation, how other, it is a little bit about this, the expectation, but not really. It's about that sensation of control, that when you go into into an experience, or into a meeting, or taking the car to go somewhere, or doing your groceries, or waking up in the morning, imagining the day, whatever you think it is, I would like for you to imagine that that little bubble is expanding. It's like open at the top of the bubble. So whatever you think is predictable or in a certain way, I would like for you to completely open the boundaries to anything. And whatever is happening or not happening is exactly what's supposed to happen, and you become aware that you weren't aware.
I think I kept up with that. Yeah, the bubble being my perception or my prediction of what is happening or what is about to happen.
Yeah, I would like to, if I'm saying it another way, back to the first feather, watch the entire first feather. When I talk about the backpack that we all carry around with, how we project things into being the reality, into being, you know, the real world. And when we wake up in the morning, we have an idea, I'm going to do that, and that. And so it's a little bit about expectation, but it's not that much as I was talking about Ivy about. It's more what I would like for you to become aware of is if you open up, so there's not the limit on it, and everything that happened is supposed to happen, then I would like for you to notice all the things you are not aware of. So you were not aware of that this afternoon the neighbor is coming and dropping off the dog that you're going to take care of for the next 2 weeks. You were not aware of that. It is supposed to happen because it does happen. It will happen, and you are going to enjoy it. I want you to notice the part that before that happened, you didn't know that was going to happen, and after it happened, it is reality. This is the exercise that is dissolving an anxiety forever.
Okay. That sounds great. I'm still trying to make sure I understand it, to be perfectly honest.
Say it back to me. Say it back to me what you think I'm saying to you.
I think you're telling me to be very aware of where I'm making predictions of how things are going to go.
Yes.
And
realize
every time they're violated. Is that?
No, but that's super interesting. I'm just writing that down. That's super interesting that's how you heard it. That's interesting. When you watch this back, see how interesting this is. Okay. No, what I'm saying, is that I want you to notice. Okay, I'm starting another way. When we have an anxiety, what we are afraid of is the unknown. When we have a fear, we know that we're afraid of the axe murderer that is walking around the house. That's a fear. And anxiety is all the things we're not aware of that can happen. What I would like for you to work with is realizing that life is nothing but that. There's so many things in your everyday life happening that when you wake up in the morning, you do not know. For example, if you look at yesterday, when you woke up yesterday morning, you had an idea of how yesterday was going to pan out, right?
Yeah.
Looking back at yesterday, do you see how much of that did not happen, but something else happened? And that else that happened created a yesterday that was completely beyond anything you could have fantasized about. And yet that became yesterday. That is dissolving an anxiety. And there are a few grains of you still that has like a little kernel of that in you. And that is what I want completely dissolved. That is why I'm giving you this utter weird exercise.
Oh, your last description there clicked. So I've been wondering about the difference between fear and anxiety for a long time, and I couldn't come up with something that made real sense to me. But that might add up, I think. Yeah, cool. Nice one.
Beautiful. Yeah. Yay. Can't wait to hear how it's going.
Yeah,
wonderful.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And there's Janine.
Hi there. I see that Iva is back, and I was wondering if your connection was complete. Did you want to go back?
Yeah, you do it, and then I will come on when I will. It's my turn. Okay.
Well,
thank you so much, Janine.
Oh, sure. I just want to say
I'm not done. I'm not done.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you so much. That was really, really kind of you. I don't have a backstop, so I'm good. If everybody has questions and everybody has more questions, and we're still sitting here at 5 o'clock, I'm still gonna answer Iva's question. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was very, very considerate and kind of you.
So I want to express my great appreciation for everyone for this space. And I'm loving it. I actually joined this channel, I think in the spring sometime, and I kept hearing about guides and groups, and there was no way to access, and I think I sent an email and I didn't get a response. So I'm like, okay, well, path of least resistance, go to whatever other thing that I've been into. But recently I found it again, or it found me, and so I'm very grateful to be here. Although I've had a couple of significant paradigm shifts, I admit I am wholly mind identified. I have not left the gate. So that's where I'm at right now. And it's very interesting that the theme that you began with was letting go. And what came to me hearing what would I let go, it was immediately everything I think I need to let go of, and all the things, just everything. And what's also interesting is circumstances have led me this week to have a purge, like this major purge. It's become blatantly aware that when I speak in spiritual groups, or when I finish a painting or a writing, or I'm a singer, I do a lot of art stuff, and I'm seeking a lot of validation with this art stuff. And I have this image of a little kid going to the pool. I'm going to take a plunge in the pool. Mommy, look at me, look at me. And I realized I am doing that, and I've been doing it for a very long time. And I'm stopping that now. So a couple of days ago, I deleted all of these precious writings everywhere, in the cloud, on the computer, and like a little purging in the house. I keep a pretty neat house, but I saved like special cards, and it's like, no, everything I need is right here. And I'm going to be quiet, although I'm not being quiet now, but it's important for me to speak this now, but I'm going to be very aware of that. So the question, I guess my major question going into the group was, well, I found the group, that's a good thing, but the guide, because with the Feder work, I feel like, oh, I can't do this, I just can't. Oh, that's another thing that has become blatantly aware. I have no agency, despite my best efforts. Nope, I got no control. So yes, a guide would be very helpful. I think that's all I have to say for now.
Okay, I have a lot of things. I have so many things. First of all, I want to say to everyone that is listening to this, oh, do not write me. I'm not replying on emails. It's like the one thing that I'm really, really bad at. And it's you're not the only one. It's like friends and family. It's like, you know, I'm just not, I'm not good at replying at all, ever, to anyone. So it's not anything personal. If any of you write me and you don't hear anything, well, my mom doesn't either. So it's like, it's just not happening. Todd is much better, and people are beginning to figure out that he's much better. So people write, Todd, could you please tell Pernille to call? Which is, you know, poor Todd, because now he is completely bombarded with messages from people. Period. New chapter. The part about finding a guide, I love that you're so diligent about it, because it is important to have a guide. It's important to have someone in your life that is more reliable than me, more reliable than writing a comment on the YouTube channel and waiting for me to answer, because it's not going to happen. So finding a guide is really, really important. At the moment, what I'm suggesting everyone to do is to go to LU, Liberation Unleashed. You go to liberationunleashed.com, and then you sign up to get a guide. And when you fill in the form to find a guide, in the comment, you write that you are working with the Awakening curriculum, and you would like a guide that is working with the fetters. At the moment, there are not many guides that are doing that. If somebody is taking you up as a guide, I would say be happy, say yes, please, because there's a lack of guides as it is. The way that Liberation Unleashed is made is that you, as soon as you go through the gate and you've seen through the first fetter, you're supposed to become a guide. But for some reason, most people don't do that. Which leads me to the next thing that I want to say. At the moment, we are trying to find out a way for people that are doing the Awakening curriculum, that have seen through the first 3 fetters, for them to become guides. Because when you're working with the fetters, you cannot make it further than the 5th fetter without guiding yourself. You need to guide other people. So when you get a guide, I would like for you to have in the back of your mind that part of it is your process, you being guided by somebody, but it's also you noticing how you would guide someone else. It's one of the things that Vince, he's doing so well on his Sunday meetings. Have you been to any of Vince's meetings? I don't think I've seen you there. No.
No.
If you go to basically every single video I have on my channel, I have an email address for Vince. He has a Sunday meeting. And he's just started to create a new meeting for people in Europe. He's in Australia. So people in Asia, I can't remember how it is, but he has now 2 meetings. But there's a meeting every single Sunday. And what is happening in those meetings is that, like now, you bring up a topic, but instead of there being one person like me sitting there, there's a room full of guides, and they will all guide you in the questions that you have. So it's not only one person that is guiding you, it's a lot of people that is guiding you for the question that you're asking. For everybody that has seen through self, I'm talking now to everybody else that has seen through the first 3 feathers, I would recommend you to start to attend Vince's meetings on Sundays and start to guide. Start to come out with good suggestions for the person that is sitting with issues, because it's not until you do that you realize what is actually happening on this side. You can never, ever, ever give any advice to anyone without becoming aware that you're not talking to them. It's a mirror. You're talking to yourself. And the only way for you to become aware of what is really happening, where you're really at, that is by giving advice to other people. It's partly useful for the other person, but it's mainly for you to become aware of where you are. How do you view the world? What do you need to work on? One of the favorite exercises that I did when I had quite big groups in Denmark when I was living in Denmark, and I had a clinic, and people, they were coming every other week, and they were staying for a full day. And one of the exercises I had was 2 people going together, and then person 1 is for 10 minutes sitting and talking about the biggest issue they have in their life. The other person is just listening, making notes and just listening. Then person 2 is going to sit and talk for 10 minutes about the biggest issue they have in their life. Person 1 is not saying anything, but just making notes. After the exercise is done, they look at the notes, and in the notes, they find that they have the solution for the biggest issue in their own life. Because that's how it works. Whatever you are giving as an advice to other people, it's only about yourself. I mean, everybody who is here on this call, please do not think that I'm sitting and giving you any advice. I'm only talking to myself. This is only the stuff that I need to look at. This is only an indication of what is alive in my life right now. I can't talk about anything else. I can only pull up from the backpack what I think is relevant for this situation, which is relevant for me in my life in this situation. And that's why it's so important to become a guide, because that is the only way that you really, really see through the delusion. So, Janine, you need to sign up for Vince's Sunday group. I would like for you to as well come to Todd and I. We have a feather inquiry group every other Tuesday. We had one this Tuesday, so it's not next week, but the week after. You write to Todd. I will write.
I actually did. I saw your work with Todd on the 4th feather a couple of days ago. So then I emailed Todd, and I have that information about that Tuesday group. So
good.
Thank you.
I want you. Yeah, I want you there as well. And then go to liberationunleashed.com. Find yourself a guide. Write that you're working with Todd. You're going in Vince's groups. That you're in my Q&A, you're working with the curriculum, write all that and say that you need a guide that can help you on the side with that. When you do that, every time you, from now on, see somebody having an issue, for example, when you're sitting and listening here, or you are in one of Todd's groups or in the inquiry group, when you are hearing people saying something and you have a really, really good advice for them, write it down. It's relevant for you.
Pernilla, can I ask you a question directly related to what you just said? I know I'm out of turn, but
Absolutely. Hi, hello, Lisa. So good to see you.
How are you today? What I'm hearing you say when you say what I pull out of my backpack and I say to you is exactly what I need for the biggest issue in my life.
Yes.
And what I go where I go from there is, and that is because it wouldn't be coming up right now and it wouldn't be being said if it wasn't that way, period.
Yes.
Full
Yes.
stop. Okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure I understood you because I think that last part really clarifies that the concept that you just introduced.
It's because the ears are sitting on me, so I can only talk about what I hear Janine is saying.
Right.
Everybody who is sitting here, you have heard my answer. When Janine started to talk, all of you had an idea of what she was saying. You had an idea of what you would suggest her. That is based on your ears and your backpack, what you in your previous things in your life have had experiences with. And that advice is relevant to Janine and is super relevant to you. And being humble that way and knowing that we can only ever interact with our own mirror, that's really, really important.
But even taking it just a tad of a step further into sort of a, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but somehow the way that comes through is into a more non-dual sense. What we hear and then what we pull out of the backpack is what is happening. And so it is incredibly relevant at that moment to us.
Yes.
Primarily.
Yes.
Okay. Right.
And that's also why that whatever brilliant advice you have given to Janine, you two are best friends. You have given her an advice, and she's doing the exact opposite. You can be completely content in life with that because it was never meant for her anyway.
Right. Lovely. Perfect. Beautiful. That's, those are some different layers of depth that give that little concept.
Yeah.
It gives it more yeah, it's just beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. And I want to say all this falls into place with the fifth feather. All this is what is settling in the pond with the fifth feather and making us ready to go into completely dissolving reality. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Lisa. Thank you. I love that you clarified. And Jenny, my friend, are you ready? Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. Then is Leela. Let me find you here. Hello, my friend. Good to see you.
Hi. There is some work being done on the house, so it may be a little bit noisy, and that's why I'm in the bedroom. So what I would like to let go of, what do I need to let go of? It's kind of hard to talk about, and I've been with my husband for almost 35 years, and several years ago, I wanted to move into a different house. My heart really wanted to be there because we were in an apartment, and this other place as a townhouse has an outdoor space with birds and trees and bushes, and the other place had none of that. And I always felt that missing. And he didn't want to move here. It's smaller. It's in many ways not as nice, but the nature is really wonderful. And I felt that I needed it. But since then, he's really, there's no sex, there's minimal affection, and there used to be a lot of affection. And I grew up in a family with no affection. And that has, it's primary. It's that's the point of being in a relationship, it seems like. And so do I need to let go of having that, or do I need to let go of the relationship? Or so there's been a lot of confusion for a few months, realizing that I'm not getting any younger. Can I have that? And
yeah.
I love my husband. He loves me. We have an easy life together. He is a hoarder. He jokes about it. He knows he does it. And it seems like this is more of the hoarding mentality, only hoarding affection. Or at least I'm interpreting it that way.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know if I said enough.
Yeah, you have. You've said
Okay.
a lot. There is something in the story where you're connecting the move and your husband feeling resentment for being forced into moving, and you guys now not having any kind of sex. There's a story there. Obviously, no, I want to ask, are you aware that that is a story?
Now I am. I've been telling the story over and over, but I can see that.
Yeah. When we create a story, it's usually a diversion for something that is underlying and not feeling nice. So we create a story about something else. How can I say this? When we create a story as a diversion and we point fingers and saying that he is resentful because I wanted to move to this beautiful place he can't see is beautiful. I'm exaggerating now. Please say if you get offended. Yeah. So he didn't want to move. I want to move to this beautiful, beautiful place. He didn't want to do that. Now he's resentful, so we're not having any sex. What I'm saying is that is a very, very convenient fallacy. That is a story that you're telling yourself because there's something happening in your body that is worse than that. You have an idea that the contraction that you feel in your body, for example, it can be, I'm just completely guessing here, it's not founded in anything at all. It can be that you are afraid that you're falling out of love and your marriage is being dissolved. And that feeling, staying with that feeling in the body is so uncomfortable. It's so icky. And you don't want to create that feeling. So you're averting from that feeling by creating a story about him being resentful and it's his fault. Then we can sit and talk about that. And it's sort something out here, but not really at all. So if you're willing to it, what I would invite you to do is to get from the head into your body. How does it feel to be in your body right now?
There is sort of a vibration that is warmer. There's usually when I'm feeling a contraction, there's like a knot or something, and now it's not so much a knot. It's maybe a burning lower belly. Yeah.
So if you think if you have the thought that that my husband and I, we have no sex because of resentment from both parts. I resent him, he resent me, and we don't have, that's why we're not intimate in any way. How does that feel in the body?
Well, there's sort of an upwelling of grief. Well, I'm labeling it grief. Heavy, more heavy. still a sort of a burning energy, feeling, pelvis.
Can you be in a body where that is? Can you stay with it?
Yeah, I've kind of been feeling into it for a while. Sort of
Yeah.
like there's an emptiness where that wants to be filled.
Okay.
But that I'm not feeling it right now. That's what I had been feeling
Yeah.
as I've been feeling into it.
So-
Right now, it's more just warmth. It seems like it's dissipating, and then that there's more it's moved up here.
If you remove the thought about you having resentment to your husband and him having resentment to you, and you just stay with your body, what is underneath that? What is underneath the story? How does it feel in your body?
There's wanting to label it grief. There is energy here. Yeah, the wanting to sigh.
So what is the grief about? What is it that you want that is not here? What is the lack about?
The love and affection that had been there previously.
Are you loving and affectionate towards him and he's not showing it, or is it both ways?
I'm withholding too.
Okay.
I'm
So
withholding
you be
too.
loving and affectionate towards him and he's not showing it? Could you walk up and give him a hug?
I can feel I'm holding too. We do hug each other every now and then, yes. But it doesn't feel it's not as fulfilling as it was. It's not.
So it's not unconditional. It needs to, a hug
Yeah,
needs
it's
to
not.
feel in a certain way. Okay.
Mhm.
Can you let go? Can you let go of the story of how a hug is supposed to be?
Oh no.
No. Okay. Then don't. No, don't.
Well, no, I think I do need to let go. I think
No,
yeah. I need to let
no,
go.
you're too
Okay.
quick. You're too quick. You're
Okay.
too quick. Just slow down.
Okay.
So now we know that is conditional.
Mhm.
That your love for him is conditional. That he needs to, when you come and give him a hug, he needs to react in a certain way. He needs to be grateful, and he needs to hug you back in a certain way. And if that is not happening, then you're turning off. He's not getting any hugs. If that's the way he wanted, no hugs is, given from this part. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I could see. I'm definitely holding back. Yeah.
Okay, so he might actually be in a meeting right now, sitting talking about how much he is hugging you, but he's not doing it. She's not responding the way that he used to. I'm not hugging her anymore. As long as she's not doing that, I'm not doing that. That's possible, isn't it?
Not too likely, but I mean, it's
It is
within the
possible.
realm of it could
It is
happen.
possible. Come on, it is possible. It's absolutely possible. What if you could be in the world with unconditional love?
Oh, I would love that. What if I could?
Yeah, so what is it you need to let go of?
Whew. Well, the idea that anybody, I mean, there are people in my community that I hug and they're very stiff, and oh, it's not fun to hug stiff people. So, I mean, yeah, I would love them unconditionally, even though they're stiff.
Okay, so let me just clarify here that whenever anybody receives a hug from Leela, they need to satisfy her needs So they're reacting in a certain way to make Leela happy. That is the way to get a hug from you.
Oh yeah, I get. Oh yeah, I do hug people who are stiff.
And they're not allowed to be. They're not allowed. They're
But it's
supposed
not okay to be stiff. No.
Oh, no. If only people could be like we want them to be, and so we get satisfied by it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm now giving you a hug, so I feel better. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you are supposed to love it.
Oh, well, it's not always that way. Sometimes it's I'm giving a hug, but yes, I do have. Yeah, it's
It's conditional. Your
it
love
is. It's conditional. It's conditional.
And no matter how we twist and turn it, your love is conditional.
Yeah.
So what do you need to let go of?
Having conditions on love.
Who are we to become a gatekeeper? You know? Who are we to decide how other people are reacting? You know? What if we could be in the world where we just overflow with love to anybody that wants to receive or not receive? None of our business. But we are just a little bundle of love, and we're just unconditionally handing it out right, left, and center to anybody that wants to receive and don't want to receive, because it's got nothing to do with them. It's how we want to be in the world. I want to be in the world in a way that I'm giving love unconditionally to anybody who wants, and also to all the ones that don't want. It's got nothing to do with you guys. I'm doing this for me. I told you a million times. So you can receive it or not receive it. It's you're completely free to be you in the world the way that you want to be. You know, lots of love is available if you want to receive it, and lots of love is available if you don't want to receive it. Can you be in the world unconditionally? You're welcome to say no, because when am I supposed to receive? You're allowed to say that.
Oh. I think that I can't be in the world unconditionally because thoughts are going to interfere with just being in the heart. Even though I can say I don't want that to be the case, it is.
Okay, so okay, that's a really, really good point, because you're not the only one having that. What is the difference with you being in the world unconditional, with unconditional love and a lot of thoughts about it, or you being in the world with unconditional love and not a lot of thoughts about it? What is the difference?
What's the difference? I'm just not listening to the thoughts.
It's just thoughts.
Yes.
The smell of wet dog and leaves is it's completely fine to be there when I'm giving unconditional love, and it's also fine if it's not there. The sound of a lawnmower is allowed to be there when I'm giving unconditional love, and it's also okay if it's not there. So thoughts are allowed to be there, and it's also okay if they're not there. It's just thoughts. It's not truth or anything that has any meaning or importance or anything. As long as it's, making sure that you're, paying your bills and not stepping out in front of a bus, that's all you can use your thoughts for. So you can be, this is me being in the world full of thoughts. This is me being in the world without thoughts. There's no difference. It's the attachment to the thoughts that makes it complicated.
Yes.
So what do you need to let go of?
Attachment to the thoughts.
There you go. Back to the first feather. What's the curriculum again with the first feather? And sit with the thoughts of this is now Leela listening to the curriculum without attachment to thoughts. What am I actually hearing? Where is this moving me? What direction am I being moved when there are no thoughts dictating the direction, what is actually happening then? And I would love to hear how you're going.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Eva, we're back. We're back. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Let me just see it's so many people ago since we talked. Here we go.
Yeah,
Iva,
it's okay. Don't worry.
my notes is saying Iva identified with expectations.
Well, yeah, I think so. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was because I don't know, but I did have so many expectations of me, you know, how do I want to be? What do I want to do? What do I want to achieve here? Because I've lost so many jobs till now, and now it's really like have like this one I have to keep. Yeah.
Do you see the issue with that identification? You have an expectation about keeping your job.
Yeah.
What happens if you let go of expectations? I mean, it's such a delusion that we have with expectations. You know, we are putting ourselves in a position as if we can decide anything. We can't decide anything. You know? And us deciding I'm gonna stay in this job is just words, you know? It doesn't mean anything. It's just words.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
I really would invite you to listen to all your expectations, write all of them down, all of them. And you're going to see that all of them are pointing to the same thing all the time. And that is the point that I would like for you next time to bring to me. What did all of the expectation point to? And then we talk about that.
So it points to self.
Yeah, obviously expectation are always self-referential. Always when we want things to happen in a certain way, like Lila, that is giving hugs, but people need to enjoy it, be happy and not stiff. That is self-referential. You know, it's got nothing to do with them. It's all about me, how I am going to. And it's the same with expectations, you know. It's so self-referential, but there's a very, with all the expectations that we have, all of them are pointing, I want that to happen, so this doesn't happen. I want that to happen, so I don't feel like this. All of it is pointing to something specific. And what I'm going to tell you next time we meet is that I'm going to have you stay with that sensation in the body that you're trying to divert from. Because expectations are only put out there so we don't feel here. Then we can focus on outside of us. I want to keep that job, so you're not in contact with what is actually here right now.
Right, yeah.
Is it right now that you don't want to feel, and that needs to stay as it is, otherwise I will have to feel this, and I don't want to feel this. You can skip a step and just go straight to what is right now. What is it that you are trying to avoid? What is the contraction that you don't want to sit with and don't want to be with?
I'm feeling it right now, the contraction.
There you go. Do you want to tell me what it's about? Where do you feel it?
Just through my whole body, through my whole chest, through my whole.
So the chest is about not being able to take a deep breath. When you have that feeling that you can't expand the lungs enough for all the air you want to take in.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah. Just have a very strong contraction here.
Can you be in a body where there's a contraction in your chest and you struggle taking in a breath?
Yeah.
It's okay to say no. It's okay to say no, this is too much, I need to divert. It's okay to say no, I don't want to be in a body that has this contraction. Right now we're just making known what is.
I don't know, there's like two sides of me, one that wants and one that it's just so, it's just, I don't even know sometimes, you know, because I have so much opposing thoughts and beliefs or whatever, yeah. So they're like in opposition, yeah.
I would like for you to go back to the first feta. Really, really do it diligently. So you hear the lesson, sit with, closed eyes and listen to the lessons, and then take it in, and then really, really look into who is it that the thoughts are talking to, and what is it that the thoughts want you to do? What is it that the thoughts want you to do, and who are the thoughts talking to? Because that is a complete mind fart.
Yeah, you told me the last time and I was looking at it, but it still didn't look at it enough.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna keep saying the same thing in 10 years. I've been saying this for 20. So it's not like there's anything new under the sun. I'm just, repeating myself. And I will keep pointing to the same thing over and over and over. And you can take as long time as you need. I'm not in a rush in any way.
Yeah. But I just was so much further and now just back here.
Ooh, that's a good one. So so you think that there's a linear process where Eva used to be really, really good, and now she's back to being really, really bad. That's what you think. That's amazing. Do you see how insane that is?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
It's because we have that expectation about things needing to be in a certain way. I have seen through self. There should be a unicorn waking me up every single morning. The sun should be shining all the time. I am awake. It should be magnificent. And then when reality is not meeting our expectations, we get self-referential again. There's something wrong with me. I didn't see through self. Now I'm having all these thoughts again.
Yeah.
The self that you just saw through, you're now believing when it's telling you that you haven't seen through self. You just exposed it. It's like, the emperor with no clothes on, you see that the emperor, he's walking around naked in the street, and then suddenly you're back to saying, well, he is kind of like naked dressed.
Yeah.
It's completely
Yeah, it's insane, but I don't know why they keep. And I just want to ask one more question, because I have like last week I was experiencing a lot of like smell, just all the smelling just everything so intensely, smelling the people, smelling the everything so intensely, energies, everything. And then I don't know, but it's somehow connected with the brain and feelings, the smell.
Yeah.
So, and then I don't know, but I think I'm very sensitive to like the smell, or so I'm putting to my body also not some good things, So I think it just because today I have like feeling like I'm metal, like kind of metal inside my body. I don't know, but but I think it's very connected with health. So, I mean,
connected with what?
With health. It's just like my body, mind is have to be very healthy to function well.
Yes. Yeah. That's one of the things, and I'm really happy you're talking about that, because I would like to say a bit about that. I know that when we talk about the fetters, we talk about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and like that. way that I experience it, it's not linear. I don't experience the feathers going from the first to the second to the third and like that. I experience that the first three, they're the most important ones because it's identification with thought, with feeling, emotions, and all the diversions we do to avoid feeling thoughts and emotions.
Okay.
Yeah. So those three are the most important ones to become aware of. But as soon as we go through the gate, as soon as we enter the house, all the other feathers are starting to dissolve. And the one you're talking about where you feel that there's connection between the senses and what you feel. So for example, you can smell something and you get a feeling right away.
Yeah.
Other people, they have for example, they can hear a sound and
they
suddenly,
have a feeling, yeah.
or they have a feeling, yeah, or they have a taste, or you can have a feeling and then you start to hear, you get like tinnitus or something like that. That is called synesthesia. And it's very, very normal, very common in autists. So we're used to that. For example, for me, every time I see the number 8, it's yellow. So for me, looking at a sheet where there's lots of numbers on, I can very, very easily point out number 8 because it's yellow. There's a paper and it's completely white piece of paper with lots of black numbers, except number 8, they're yellow, all of them.
That's so interesting. Yeah.
Completely insane. Yeah, that's one of the crazy things about autism. But that's the part about synesthesia. We tend to believe before we walk through the gate, before we become aware that there is no separate self, and we believe that there's like, I am my body and I am Pernille and all of that. As soon as you're letting go of that, you're also letting go of the idea that the sight is only the seen, and the hearing is only the heard, and the tasting is only what you're tasting. Those boundaries are beginning to dissolve. And that means that suddenly you will start to see something and have a feeling. You will hear something and smell something.
Oh my God.
Yes.
It's amazing.
It is amazing. It is amazing. But it also means, but because what comes with that, it's a very, very selective way of being in the world. You will become more and more selective of, for example, what you want to eat. Because the texture of what you're eating is giving you a certain smell or certain feeling or certain sound or so things are beginning to melt into this melting pot where there's no boundary. So you're going to be super, super selective about people you're with, things you're going to do, background music or no music.
So that's what, because the smell of cigarette, it was so disgusting. Yes. And then, I don't know why, out of habit, I completely disregard my body and start to smoke again. And I'm feeling these metal things and I still do it.
Yes.
Oh, so it's just like,
It's because there's still something that is not connected. With the information I have just given you, do you see that there needs to be, you need to step away from the idea that there is a separate self.
Yeah.
If you zoom out and look at the situation from the 5th floor, you will see I am standing on the floor, something is happening. And from this point of view up here, you can see that what she thinks is about a cigarette or is about unhealthy food or is about something. It's not about that at all. Not at all. This is just the mind. This is just the mind that is playing a trick. Something else is happening. So zoom out and really, really see what is actually happening here. It has nothing to do with food. It has nothing to do with a cigarette. Something else is happening. Something else is dying, like the ego is dying. Something else is falling away. And your perception of reality is about to be shifted. So it's very much about being very, very soft in the situation to what is happening, being very, very open to whatever change is happening around you, because none of us are just one little pawn in a very, very big play. It's like a kaleidoscope. You know that kaleidoscope you look at as a child?
Yeah.
Every little tilt you do changes the entire picture. That is where you're at now. And as soon as you have realized that there's no separate self, that is your life. From now on, that is your life. So just zoom out, get the overview of the situation, and get out of your own way. You are the I, and the ego is a stick in the wheel for actually seeing what is happening.
Yeah.
And whatever you think is happening, it's so much bigger. It's so much. Remember back in life when you thought that a taste was just a taste, and a sound was just a sound, and a smell was just a smell? Remember back then, 5 minutes ago, ages ago. Everything is now different. The kaleidoscope has been turned again, and you can zoom up and look at what is happening.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So the first feather. Thank you. So the first feather,
back to first feather, and have the glasses on that I just talked about. Zoom out and listen to what I say with those, with hearing with those glasses on. You're gonna hear something completely different.
I will listen again.
Good.
Okay.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Lisa. Hello, my friend. Good to see you, Mark. Bye. Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm back and I'm so grateful. This has been such a rich conversation today. Oh my gosh. And everybody's sharing has been so, great. I hated that Mark left because I wanted to say something about what he said. But anyway,
he's probably going to watch the recording. So
good.
just
okay.
say what you want to say.
Well, if it comes up, I'll get to it because now it's moved to something else. But synesthesia, all of a sudden it's happening in spades for me. And the question I had around it was, it's so interesting too, when it happens and you're like, whoa, what was that? And you just realize that you simultaneously heard something and felt something at the same time, but they were in different parameters, and it was not related, but it was totally related. And you're like, wow, it's very cool. So that's starting to happen kind of regularly. I'd say maybe every day a little bit of something comes up and I can go, wow. So the question I had was, so the feeling of, and this goes to what Tonka talked about earlier about how space and everything feels kind of like it's merged. I'm not sure exactly how she put it, but to me, everything's starting to look like zoomed out newsprint, like where everything's little dots. So everything is kind of like that. Nothing's super solid. Everything's just made out of dots, and it's not discernible one from the other necessarily. I mean, clearly you can see that it is, but you also can see that it isn't, if you will, right?
Yes. Yeah, six feather. Yeah.
So my question on that was, with the synesthesia, kind of comes in that same realm, it seems. I can feel and see and have the sensation and hear that everything is the same. There's no designation of there's no difference. But when it comes to taste or what am I leaving out? Taste and, well, cognizing's in there with the other one. I think it's just taste. Taste never seems to be part of it. And I'm not concerned about it. I'm just noticing that there's no, kind of like I was really in the taste realm. There's not anything happening in the taste area. And I'm like, not concerned, because I figure, well, if it needs to, it will. And if it doesn't, it won't. But I just wondered if there was something that would be fun to play with there, or just kind of let it go, not just wait and see what happens.
Yeah, how do you go about it? Because it's clearly that the sixth feather is starting to fall for you. That is where you're at now. That is what you're working with now. How does the taste experience happen to you when you eat something? How do you eat? Do you know what I'm asking?
Yeah.
Do you eat out of habit? That this is what I have for breakfast because I have it every morning, or this is
Oh,
what I
no,
don't.
no. Totally not at all. Not at all like that. I am a eat when I'm hungry and I notice that my body picks certain foods and I'm like, oh yeah, boy, I must really, I mean, of course I make a story. There's a bit of a story that wants to attach, like, oh, the body needed arugula. So now I'm eating arugula 3 days in a row, big salads, right? Or something like that. But there's more of there's a more continuity with the idea of whatever you're needing is what you're going to be eating.
Yeah, that's the ninth feather. That's the part of the flow where you just go with whatever feels right. So, do you empty your plate?
Excuse me?
Do you empty your plate when you have a bowl of salad? Do you eat all of it?
Usually with salad I do, but not with everything. And I've always been a clean plate person because my parents raised me that way. Like the kids in China are starving. Did anybody else hear that?
Such a good girl. Such a good girl.
But I don't anymore. I notice I actually leave food on my plate, which always surprises me now. I'm like, oh wow, I didn't. Every once in a while, it's changing. Let's just say, yeah.
Okay. Do you know the eating inquiry that Todd has made?
I
haven't tried that. Okay, it needs to come with a warning because that goes for everyone. If all of you go to, I actually think I already have it in a playlist on my channel, but otherwise on Unfettered Mindfulness, he has, I can't remember what he calls it, but it's something about food and eating, inquiring to food and eating. It really comes with a warning. It really comes with a warning because you're supposed to sit and eat or imagine that you're eating something and have the full experience in the moment of what is happening. It's also what is called mindful eating.
Yeah.
And it utterly changed the way that you eat and what you eat completely. I've heard of multiple people that have done it and all of a sudden they cannot stand eggs anymore, or they cannot stand, warm liquid, or they cannot stand because they suddenly become aware of how it actually feels in the body. How does the body actually perceive this? Because when we eat and when we drink and when we have like that taste sensations, the majority of it is labels. There's not much left when it comes to eating that is actually about the sensory experience of it and the actual taste and smell and sensation in the mouth of it. There's not much left. The majority of it is labels, and it's also why you say that you have that label. Oh, I must be needing something in rucola. That's why I need that's the frontal lobe, the little ego sitting and going, oh, I'm so clever. I know what is in rucola that my body needs. It's just a mind fart. Just a mind fart.
It's just idea thoughts. Yeah.
So,
and I was in the Thich Nhat Hanh tradition for years, and so mindful eating was always part of our retreats, and so I know what you're talking about, but I kind of haven't paid any attention to it lately. So yeah, I'll dig into that.
I would like to find out what it is about the tasting that makes that sensory experience different than all the others. The behavior with in the herd only the herd, and the scene only the scene. I would like for you to explore what is it about taste that's different, because there is a hook into a story, and that story has an underlying belief, and I'm super curious about that.
Yeah, me too. I'm still working on my trust beliefs. I've been going back through my files of how I might have not trusted myself in the past based on what we talked about last week, and it's tough. And that was another one of my questions. I'm not really finding anything with much stickiness, or it's all very, I'm not finding anything, but I'm still working with it. I'm hanging with it. I'm looking for breadcrumbs. I'm noticing what other people are saying to me about stuff that's happening in their life and trying to filter back, because I feel like everything that everybody says to me is, for me in a sense. And so I'm looking at all
No. I have to stop you on that one.
Okay.
That is one of the spiritual woo-woo things. I need to, strangle that baby right away.
Please strangle it.
No. What you think you hear other people say is about you.
Of course.
You know, it's
Thank
not
you
what
for
people.
that.
It's not what people say. You have no idea what
Yes.
people say. You only know what you think you hear they say. And
Yes,
that's
thank
why
you.
whatever you think you hear they say, it's you saying it to you. It's a little
Yeah.
breadcrumb to you with information to you from you.
Thank you. That
That is why,
it seems subtle, but it's super powerful what you're saying.
yeah, it's such a difference. It's
Yeah.
such a difference because it leaves the power here.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
It leaves the power here. You don't need to seek out a guru. You don't need to seek out anyone that can help you to say the right things. You can hear the right thing at the grocery store because the ears are attached to you. You know, so if you're just with you and you are aware of what you think you hear people say, you have all the gold nuggets that you need. You don't need to do anything else.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah. That became really well, and I do like, yeah, I was staying with my granddaughters last night, and they were just restless, or maybe I was restless, and they couldn't get situated, and we kept swapping beds, and the 2-year-old was crying, and then the dog was barking, and it was so funny because all these thoughts kept flooding in, and I kept going, you know, that's not pertinent now. All these ideas. I might not get any sleep at all. I might only get 2 hours of sleep. And then I thought, okay, can I be in a body that doesn't get any sleep tonight right now? And it was like everything changed. I stopped listening to all the thoughts about what was and what wasn't going to happen. And I just hung with it. I ended up getting 2.5 hours of sleep. It was a lot more than I thought. And it was fine. It was fine. I was celebrating.
Exactly. It's amazing. It's amazing when we allow. It was also what I talked to Iva about. It's amazing when we allow what is. You know, when we get out of our way and we just allow what is. Oh wow! I thought I was going to sleep here, and the 2-year-old here. There we go. The dog is here, and the 2-year-old is there. You know, so I thought it was going to be in a certain way. That means nothing. Nothing.
Right.
Reality is as it is, and whatever is happening is supposed to happen. Clearly, it is what is happening.
And it
Love it
seems in
so
a way
much.
like there's a test coming every time that I get to that place where, like, of course, this is exactly what's supposed to be happening. Here we are. And then here comes another thought. It's like, here's the next test. Are you going to be able to be okay with that one? And then here's another one. And then it was like the mind had me on, you know, some kind of like, I don't know. It was just like taking SATs or something over and over, but it was super reassuring that each time they flooded in, I was, no, we're not going there. We're fine. Everything's fine. Okay, now I'm in this bed. No, that's fine. Now I'm sleeping with the dog on the couch. No, now I'm outside trying to get the dogs to stop barking that are outside all night long. But yeah, it was beautiful. And I'm so grateful because your attitude towards everything as you introduce your teachings and this total surrender to exactly what is and always celebrating it as an opportunity has been so insightful for me. It's really helped lighten everything, and I just really appreciate it.
I'm so grateful. I'm so happy. I'm really, really happy.
I loved the zoom out that you just talked about with Iva, the kaleidoscope turning. It just gives you so much perspective, and that's what it feels like every time you think you're okay, everything's okay. Boom, the kaleidoscope stops. And somebody comes by your house and says, I'm dropping the dog off you said you were going to take care of for 2 weeks. And you're like, okay, great. I loved that earlier when you said that. Yeah. That was perfect. So,
amazing.
Yeah, thanks an awful lot.
I'm so happy, Lisa. So happy.
Yeah, it's really and that was one thing that I remembered what I wanted to say about Mark, and then I'll get off. I'm monopolizing. Well, it doesn't matter. I have a lot to say. When you walk in the door and all of a sudden a bunch of doors open, that's what feels like is happening. Like all of a sudden, a lot of doors are opening, and it can get kind of overwhelming. When Iva started talking about how her chest was hurting, oh my God, my whole chest started hurting. I was like, okay, you're fine. You're good. Hang with it. Be with it. Feel it. This is an opportunity. Celebrate. And I keep having those kinds of things happening. So I'm so glad that I've been able to take on the perspective that you have of saying, here it is, here's the opportunity, embrace it, be thankful for the discomfort, the pain, the misery, the dog shit that you got to clean up, or the dog throwing up while the 2-year-old's running, whatever it is, whatever it is. Yeah.
Okay, I would just like one last thing, and it might be over the top, but here we go. Since we're talking about the sixth feather, and you are already starting to dissolve boundaries, have you done I think it was in the last Q&A that I had the part where I did that you're sitting and you're feeling sensations, and you're sitting with closed eye, feeling the sensations, and you focus on the sensations that you're feeling in the body. And then instead of focusing on the sensation in the body, you focus on the space between the sensation. Oh. And then you see that space between the sensation, it's into the universe. It's like, it's so expansive. If you're only focusing on all the things that are not in the body, not sensations, there's so much out there. That is part of the sixth feather. That is part of that expansiveness, where you start to see that what we perceive as my physical body here, it's just a perception. In quantum mechanics, we know that we're all part of a field, right? Yeah. So when you hear someone like Iva sitting and talking about that she can't breathe, it's like, her chest is completely locked up. And when she says that, you feel that your chest is completely locked up. You can think, Iva, I'm now breathing for you. I'm right here. I'm breathing for you. I'm helping you breathing. And then you help Iva breathe. Mm-hmm. You dissolve, close your eyes, and you dissolve your body, and you put yourself in the position of kind of like sneaking into Iva's body, and then you help her breathe. So you help her expand the chest. It's what we do when we are empathic with other people's pain. For example, if you're speaking with a girlfriend, she lost her husband and she's so sad, and you sit with her. That's sitting with another person and sharing the space and just allowing it to be. That is what we're doing. We're not aware that is what we're doing, but that is actually what we're doing. We're kind of merging with the other person, so the other person gets more founded, because now we're two carrying this pain. We're two that is breathing. We're two that are sitting here and expanding into the world, and it's okay. I would like for you to start to see that but don't force it.
Well, actually, it's already happening, because because I can't exhale enough. This is something very new in the last week. I can't exhale enough. It's like I'll be in the grocery store and all of a sudden I'll feel my body go, and I'm just blowing air out all the time. When I start talking and I start to feel it, I just started blowing air out. So there's something that's happening on a natural. I've been noticing this. Yeah, lots of exhaling.
It's because the sixth feather is starting to dissolve for you, and then you start to feel that merging, that you are not limited to Lisa, you're not limited to where you are, and in the seventh feather you will start to realize you're not even limited to time. That the time is in a vertical dot, is not horizontal at all, and you can sit and breathe through all the traumas and stay with that. Because
that's actually already happening as well. Yeah, time's really dissolved a great deal. Like I could tell you about being at my granddaughter's last night and all that, but it's gone, totally gone.
Yeah, that's the disadvantage. Oh my God, you should see the schedule keeping Todd and I, we have, the meeting that we had yesterday, what were we talking about? I can't remember. It's like we can't remember anything. We have to have have reminders for everything we do, because the time thing is not a real thing.
Yeah, if I lost my iPhone, I probably would just, I don't know, eat raspberries. I wouldn't worry about it, but I sure would miss a lot.
Yeah. So you guys, if someday I'm not turning up, it's because I forgot it's Friday and it's 12 o'clock. So now you know. Don't be worried. I'm just not in this in this spot right now. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Lisa. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pernilla.
Thank you. Let me just. Then it is Beth. Hello, my friend. You are muted.
Hi. Hi. There we go.
There we
Thought I
go.
pressed it, I hadn't. Nice to see you again, everyone. So I just wanted to speak with you because I don't normally speak when I go online to satsangs and things. So I registered with LU, which was great.
Amazing.
And I've been listening to the First Better videos again and making notes. And I've got lots of notes. I just thought I'd mention about what came up at the beginning of the call about letting go. And I don't like what came up, but it did come quite spontaneously. Well, to let go of being right.
Ooh.
And I think it's quite a subtle one, sort of a lot about me, really, about my thoughts that I have about myself. But I do recognise I do have certain things and people and opinions that I feel very right about. You know, even though I'm aware that there are opinions I'm having about people and their thoughts, but they're still quite strong. So,
can you ever be right? Come on, be honest.
Well, part of me thinks, well, no, obviously not. But I am right about some things. Schizophrenic attitude towards it.
It's for the first thing I want to say that when you have the issue of believing that you're right, and when I ask the question, can you ever be right, and you have the thought, you're not saying it out loud because you're a really, really good girl, you're not saying it out loud, but the thought is, hell yeah, I am right. I am right. I know so much better. People would be so happy if they only did what I'm, suggesting them to do. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. The first thing I want to tell you is it's okay. You don't have to rush at all in dissolving that one. When we have the need to be right, it's because there's a contraction in the body. We think that something will happen if we are letting go of control, if we are letting go of knowing, and we're letting go of all that we believe is creating safety in our lives. If I know what is the right thing to do, then I stay on the path, and I'm not in danger for anything because I'm doing the right thing. You see that? So what I'm poking when I'm saying that you can't be right ever, what I'm poking is giving you a deep, deep, deep seated sensation of fear. And I don't want you to be there, because when you're there, you can't manage life.
Well, I can think of a situation. It brings up a lot of questions and thoughts. There was a situation recently where I was asked to lend somebody some money, who I've had a long there's been a history with about lending and giving money to lending money and not being come back, even though they've said they would, and I've sort of let go of it. And this situation arose a few months in a row where they wanted me to lend them some money for electricity, and that they would pay me back, and not a large amount, but I just was struggling. Like I was quite rude, and I said no. That thing about, well, am I right to say no? Am I right to try to put a boundary in place? So there's a lot of uncertainty about when I'm making a decision about something, and I get very confused. In that situation, I was very confused, but I felt like it was the right thing to do.
Yeah. First of all, let's take that example, because that example is a great example. Do you know, I know the answer to this one. Do you know that you are completely entitled to say no?
I'm trying to process that question. Do I know that I'm completely entitled to say no? Well, that's where I am a little bit shaky, because I think, oh, if somebody's asking for something,
you can say no.
It? But I don't want. No, the feeling was no. Look, this has got to stop. I don't feel comfortable with it. But
okay, stay there. Right now, you're adding more words not to feel. I would like for you to breathe, and I would like for you to feel your body. Okay, so that person is approaching you now, and asking you for 500 pounds. You don't want to give the 500 pounds. How does it feel in your body? You know that if you don't give the 500 pounds, electricity will be turned off. They won't have any electricity. How does it feel?
It feels okay. These are small amounts of money that I've been asked for in the last 3 months. So they're small amounts, and they have, even though in the past they've not paid money back, they said they would. Large amounts.
No, they're not paying money. They're only taking money. They're not paying money.
To the small amounts. Last time they asked, I said no. It felt right. But and they called me mean and everything and horrible, but I didn't take that on. So, well, actually, I'm not mean. I don't feel mean. That was fine. I could listen to them saying that, and that was okay.
It's not. Right now you're bypassing. You're bypassing full throttle.
What am I bypassing?
You're bypassing that icky sensation you have in your body when you say no. You're not aware that you are entitled to say no. You think that you are entitled, that you're only entitled to say a big yes and a little yes. You're entitled to say the big yes for things that you really, really want, and the little yes for the things that you don't want. So you say yes while you shake your head, and you do it resistingly. I'm posing that you are completely entitled to say a big yes and a big no.
Big no, yeah. Well, I did say no.
But you're saying right now you're justifying yourself.
Yeah, I was. When I said no, I was coming up with this reason why, that reason why. You know, I'm aware of that's what
you're justifying.
I'm doing that. So yeah, I don't feel I can say no.
Yeah, because you don't think that you're entitled to say no. So I would like for you to stay in the body and explore what is it that you are avoiding in your body? What sensation are you avoiding in your body by saying yes to something that is clearly a no? Something is happening. There's an icky sensation in the body and you're diverting from it. You're avoiding feeling it when you say yes to things that actually is a no.
So, say that. Ask the question again, because I can't take the question in.
Yeah, do you know why? It's because your body really not your body, your mind really don't want to go down this road. So I'm gonna say the same question over and over and over again. How does it feel to be in your body when you say no? When you're risking that people are gonna call you names, that they are gonna leave you.
Well, I've got over that. This particular. Sorry, I know I'm going off on one again. This particular person's done it, but they never go away. They don't go away. They call me names. It's like they are a big teacher to me. And I have said no, whereas you used to not be able to say no because I didn't want them to not call me and all that. But I don't. It's difficult just to say no.
Why? What's the story? There's a story there. What is the story about?
I do feel mean, and because I could lend them this small amount of money to.
No, 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 no. No, you can't. It's a no. What is wrong with being mean?
I don't know.
You also
I
said
don't
I didn't want them to not call me. You said I didn't want them to not call me too, Beth.
That was a long time ago, but now.
What is wrong? Okay, everyone sitting on the call, have you heard about Beth? She's so mean. She's so selfish, you know? She's the most selfish person on this call. All of you are super generous except Beth. Beth does not want to lend any money to anyone. She's so self-serving. So selfish. Right? What's wrong? What's wrong with that?
Well, I guess I feel like I need to know whether I do or not. And sometimes I don't know how to make that decision.
But do what?
I don't know whether I want to say no or not.
Okay.
Whether I want to say yes.
You have very conveniently not answered my question 3 times now. I'm asking you now for the 4th time. What is wrong with being self-serving, egotistical, and mean?
That's what's wrong with it. Well, quite a lot.
Go on.
Quite a lot of things are wrong with it.
Be specific. What's wrong? What's wrong with that?
Well, I would say it was quite egotistical and
that's fine.
Self-centered.
Yeah, that's fine too. What's wrong with that?
So
it's not a trick question. I'm not trying to trick you in any way. I'm not tricking you in any way at all. I'm talking about when have you watched the first Feta in the curriculum?
Yeah.
Have you watched the one that I talked about earlier about going into a house, and as soon as you enter the doorstep, you are seen through self and all the rooms are in there, right?
Yeah.
What I'm trying to do with the curriculum is for all of you to go into all of the rooms. One of the rooms is egotistical. One of the rooms is being mean. One of the rooms is being angry. One of the rooms is being rigid, putting up boundaries. And I want all of you to know there's nothing wrong with any of it. There's none of the rooms that are better rooms than other rooms, and some feelings are better feelings than other feelings. Being generous is not better than being selfish and mean. It's just a feeling. It's just a feeling. For you to be self-centered and egotistical and mean, it's completely okay. Knock yourself out. And it's not a trick, and there's not something, wise word being said at the end of this rant that I'm sitting and coming with. Not at all. I'm serious. It's completely fine. It's completely fine. There is clearly something in it for you to explore.
I don't want to be selfish and mean.
Why? What do you think would change?
I don't want other people to be mean and selfish towards me.
Hang on. So other people, you're dictating how people are supposed to be towards you. So being with you is conditional. I always need to be happy when I'm with you. I'm not allowed to have issues in my life that I'm dealing with.
No, I'm not saying that. I don't want to be mean and selfish. Generally, I'm not mean and selfish.
Then you need to explore that. It's just like somebody saying, I'm not happy. I can't walk around being happy all the time. It's the same thing. You have an idea that some feelings are better than other feelings. And that is letting you live in a very small world. A world where you're taken advantage of, because I know exactly how to play you. I'm just calling you mean and I'm calling you self-centered, and I'm calling you selfish. And then because you don't want me to think that about you, I can do whatever I want, and you will do exactly what I want.
Well, I don't feel I would do.
Yeah, you would. You paid money to a person that is not paying you back. You have even accepted that you have paid a lot of money to a person and you don't even expect to get the money back.
Yeah, I don't. But this time I have recently said, you know, last year or so, please don't ask me for money. I don't want you to ask me for money. But there is a feeling of, it's like, it's an interesting thing, because if, you know, if they keep asking me, I'm going to have to keep.
Yeah, practice it. You need to practice it. Yeah, it's amazing. I wish they're going to ask you for more money. Yeah, I really, really hope.
I was quite rude. I was quite rude. And I said, I am not your monthly overdraft electricity facility.
Well, clearly you are, Beth. Clearly you are. You are. You have been for years.
Yes,
you have been for years. Yes, you have been. You are. You actually are. And the moment that you say that you're not, you deem yourself as mean and self-serving, because you're not saying no.
Mean, but I mean, I just thought, well, that's so stupid. I'm not mean. So it's turning, but it's interesting and it's useful. I do find it useful, because it, you know, I'm practicing saying no, or I'm saying no.
And yeah, and I want you to practice that with a lot of things where you don't need to say no.
Well, that's going to be very difficult.
And that's interesting, isn't it?
Well, I don't like saying no if I don't want to say no.
No, but you never want to say no. You're the kind of person that has boundary issues, you know? So yeah. And it's never ever going to change until you allow yourself to be everything. And one of the things that is part of everything, it's also being mean and self-centered. I'm not saying that you, well, I actually would suggest you to go out in the world and be mean and self-centered, because there's a lot to learn in that. But I only want you to learn it so you can be more whole as a person, because right now you don't have boundaries. Right now you're not aware that no is okay. It's just as okay as saying yes, you know. Both are equally okay. There's not a preference between either of them. It's just a word. It's just a word.
It's just a word, but don't words have consequences?
Of course they do. But so far you have entered the house, and the whole left wing of the house we're leaving in darkness. We're not going in there because it has consequences. You believe that by always being kind, it doesn't have consequences. It clearly does. All the times you in your life has said, now I'm going to do that, and it doesn't happen, and that happens on a daily basis. That is because of that. You have no boundaries.
Say that again.
Yes.
Every day every
single day you experience that there are things in your life that you want to do for you, and it never happens.
Well, I put that down to ADHD.
Yeah, I know. It's so great to have a little label to put on that.
Okay.
You are the people that doesn't have any boundaries. They are, as you, the queen of half-sorted stuff, because you're not good at saying no. You're not good at seeing at boundaries, at seeing through.
So how does that relate to getting things done?
Because it's the same thing. It's the same thing. As long as you're not allowing one thing to be there, that one thing is missing in everything.
How does it relate to not getting things done, not saying no? Sorry, I'm just.
It's about because you are in the middle of sorting out the attic. The phone rings and somebody asking if you could, take the dog this afternoon. You're the one that will take the dog and not finish the attic. You're not the person that will say.
I would say no. I can say no. No, I do say
no. I would like for you to really notice how many layers of apologies a no comes with.
Well, I can write down when I say no.
Yes. And then notice the physical sensation in the body. Notice what is actually happening. Because there's something in your body that you're avoiding to feel. And it's probably something, what it normally is, it's something about being left. It's something about being too much. It's something about not being, liked or preferred. So therefore you're trying to play ball so the others are gonna like you and keep you in the pack. And that sensation in the body is terrifying for a child. And then we grow up and accommodating and just, being blue if they want the blue.
Yeah, it's linking it in the body, noticing
what is happening and making that thought experiment that a lot of people are coming and asking you for money, and you having or not only money but coming and asking you for things that you don't want to do, and you practicing saying no just to experience what does it feel to be in a body that says no. What does it feel to be in a body where other people are calling me selfish and self-serving and egotistical? What does it feel to be in a body and in a world where that happens? It's just exploring it. You know Vince?
Yes. Yeah.
We had a talk in one of the groups that we have about expectations and about explanations, and where I said that when you have, whenever something is happening and you are explaining, you're trying to create a story so the other person can't have the experience that they have, so you feel better. So he put it upon himself not to explain everything, not anything. He didn't want to explain anything, and he didn't even want to say sorry. So for a whole week, he was the biggest twat on the planet. He did people wrong all the time and didn't apologize a single time until I was like, no. It's okay for you to say, I'm sorry when you've done something wrong. You can say, I'm sorry. Or he was like, I was just trying it. And it's a bit what I would like for you to do. Just try it. Try to feel what it feels like to say no. Even to things that you can do.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Well, this person I'm saying no to, which is great, and I didn't really care that they were calling me mean. So they are a great teacher. For, I'm learning a lot from them. Because I think, well, I don't care what you think. I don't want to lend you £40, even though you're going to pay me back, and you can. Yeah, and I was quite rude.
Why? Why?
Well, because they were ringing, and I said, if you're ringing, because they tend to be very persuasive and want to, and they know that they probably know that I'm a,
they know
with their words, they're very good with their words, and I didn't accept the call, and I said, I'm walking. If you ringing to ask me for money, I said no.
Yeah.
So I was.
Is that rude?
No, well, I did feel it was rude, but I didn't care. I just wanted to say no. I'd had enough, I'd had enough. So, yeah. it's a bit of an extreme thing, so maybe I.
No, it's beautiful. It's wonderful, and I also want just to point out that you did care. You did care, and you did care that you felt, bad, and you did care that the situation is as it is, and you have to say no because you would prefer that you didn't have to say no.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
I meant it was extreme. This person is quite an extreme personality type, so maybe I could practice it with things that aren't so extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sort of.
Yeah. Absolutely. Practice saying no for things that you could say yes to, but nah, today we say no.
Yeah. Okay.
So in a moment when we end the meeting, and I wish everybody a wonderful week. I wish you a lot of situations where people want a lot from you and you have to say no to all of them. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for your honesty. I really, really love that. Talking about this is very difficult, and I really, really applaud you for bringing it up. And I really, really wish for you to explore what it is underneath that underlying belief that you have that something will happen if you say no, that you believe that it's okay for me to say no, but not for you. I want you really, really to explore that. You and I are the same. If I'm okay to say no, you're okay to say no. So every time you're in a situation and you're practicing say no, know that I'm with you. I'm right there next to you, telling you it's okay. It's okay. Just feel into your body. Just notice what is happening in your body, and I'm right with you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then we have Nate, and I think Nate is the last one today.
Good.
Hello, my friend. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. You gave me some homework I wanted to report back on.
Thank you.
You'd asked me, I've talked about having moods up and down, and you asked me if in my body, how I distinguished a good mood from a bad mood.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find, not only can I not distinguish, I couldn't find anything that indicated good or bad.
There you go.
Another member, I think her name was Jalela, suggested.
Yeah, Jahida, yeah.
He said, well, if you can't identify a feeling associated with good and bad, just start with any, a sensation, start with any sensation. So I sat a couple nights looking for, when I was feeling bad, I couldn't find anything. So I just went to my feet and felt that sensation. And then as I stayed with that for 5 or 10 minutes, I noticed I could feel it up in my ankles and then my legs and up to my knees. So it's very, I would have called it subtle at some point, except once I could feel it, it was pretty clear. So I went to my hands, I could feel those, and then the sensation in my hands, kind of a warmth. And then I got this moment where I thought, wow, this is just one field. Like the feet and the hands weren't separate for a second there.
Yeah.
That was nice.
It is.
But I still have not found a sensation associated with the bad or the good mood. I'm motivated and excited to keep working. I have noticed, like, if I'm in a bad mood, I can be a little irritable, like something will set me off that ordinarily wouldn't. So there's some anger. I couldn't, so I said, well, all right, well, that anger must have been there already, just waiting to be triggered, but I couldn't find it yet. So that's where I am with it.
Amazing. I love that. Well done. Well done.
Thank
well
you.
done. You look much lighter.
Interesting, because last week I was in a great mood, and yet when I watched the video, it didn't come across that way. So I wondered about that.
That's amazing. I love that. I love that. I really love that inquiry. That's amazing. When you say that you have that that something can happen and you feel irritable of what is happening. May I ask you to be curious to what is it that you perceive as a trigger that is initiating that irritability? Because like you say, it's lying there under the surface, just waiting for, you know, Janice to say something, and then there we go. Just notice what is it that you perceive as a trigger for that irritability, and what is the justification? Where is that justification coming from? That I'm irritable because she's chewing bubble gum. Looking into that connection that you believe that is there, that is justifying the irritability for arising.
Okay. Because irritabilities I've noticed have been more like I just stumbled or I bumped into something, but now I can see, well, maybe I'm holding myself some kind of
Yes.
But I shouldn't be a stumbler after all.
Yeah, here we go. You're a stumbler. Yeah.
I've always been a stumbler. Yeah.
So it's actually two things that I want you to notice. The first thing is where that justification is happening. So you bump into things which you've done your entire life. Why is that? Why is there something wrong with bumping into things? Clearly, you are a stumbler, so you are bumping into things. Why can that make anything arise in you when it is clearly happening? Because you're fighting with reality, you know? You're bumping into things, you're stumbling over things, and then you get angry for what reality is happening, or what is happening in reality. You're fighting with reality.
Which ordinarily I wouldn't do. I wouldn't. So if there's something about what I don't even know what to call it anymore. Call it a mood state. That's putting a label on it. There's something about that. It just seems like a lot of negative thoughts.
Go on, yeah, amazing, amazing. Go with that.
I'm not aware of the sensation in the body.
Exactly, because there's not a connection. But if you have a lot of resentment in your life, and you have experienced a lot of things in your life that has given you that sensation of resentment, what we're doing right now, when you're starting to dissolve the self, that means that you're also dissolving the outlet for that resentment. So that resentment might need to be looked at and loved and, you know, having compassion towards before you can let go of it. So also see it as an indication for something that needs attention.
Thank you. Because you actually gave me two completely separate pieces of homework, but the second one was the one you just said.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Completely unrelated, but and Beth helped a lot, because it was, you asked me, because I said I had a negative experience with LU, and so I left it alone for 5 years or something. And you said, well, where else do you let people's opinion deter you from doing what you want to do?
Yeah.
And I thought, well, not so much, except everywhere. I just accommodating, like the sort of all the stuff you just walk Beth through. I have a picture of myself when I'm 7 or 8, and I've got pursed lips, and I can see I'm pissed off with all the bullshit I've had to put up with already. Yeah. 7-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
oh my God.
You're feeling resentful, and then I bump into
and that's why it's important that you allow yourself, when you bump into something, that you allow that to come up, because if that is 7-year-old Nate, that just really, really need to be heard. You know, he needs a hug. He needs to be told, it's okay, mate. I mean, this is bullshit. The hand you have been dealt is bullshit. And I completely understand, you know, purse your lips, all you need. I love you. I'm right here. It's all going to be great. I promise you. And then just allow that to come up to the surface, you know, so you just notice that, oh, here I am. There's a direct link to 7-year-old Nate that is dealing with this. And here I am right now today, and I'm healing that, you know, in the vertical.
That's nice.
Yeah, yeah. So really just truly allow it to be there, so you have like that insight into where it's pointing, and fill it up with love and compassion. So it's okay to be there. and then you can let go of it. But it needs to be met first. You can't leave that little guy alone, you know, with all that.
Oh, well, you know. Yeah, you'd given me that other piece, but I'd forgotten it about once you find it, bring love to it, or bring a hug to it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. It's so enjoyable. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, you guys, I think, let me just see. I think that's it.
Can I just say something?
Yeah, hi, Sanne. Hi.
I saw, Beth, you have Batman on your shirt. Yes. Yes. You can get help from Batman to say no.
Are you and Pernilla related?
Yes, Sanne is my sister. We don't have, we don't have the same parents, but yes, she's my sister and I'm her sister, but not from the same family.
Sisters from different mothers and fathers, right?
Yes, absolutely different families and different parts of Denmark and everything, but we're still sisters. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Thanks so much for being with us today. It was super open.
It's been so enjoyable. It's been so enjoyable. I love it so much. Yeah. Remember that next Friday we're not meeting. We're not meeting. It's a Danish holiday and I'm doing board games with the family on Zoom.
But you're going to do the next week and then start skipping again?
I can't remember the dates right now. I'm writing it when there is. I'm writing in. I think the only thing I'm skipping is the 10th, and then we're back to. Can't remember right now.
So do you think you're basically keeping the schedule that you had, except for you're just not going to be there next week, and you're going to be there on the 10th instead, and then you're going to resume the normal? Okay, we can follow that. All right,
that's
great.
amazing. I'm happy for that. Okay, you guys, thank you so much. Thank you for everything you have shared. It's been absolutely wonderful. I'm so appreciative of you guys. It's really, really, it's so enriching. Thank you very much. Thank you so much,
everybody.
And have a lovely week, all of you. And Beth, I hope that you're gonna get a lot of no's.
One a day.
One a day.
I know what the book say. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye, you guys.
Bye.